everything that we can do to harmonize risk assessments and streamline how we're actually assessing not only internally our own institutions, but downstream at vendors. Because now with vendors needing to be assessed, how deep do you need to go? For example, if I use an outsourced data center provider, do I need to assess the people who provide the air conditioning for the data centers because of the Internet of Things and how those systems, the quickest way to bring down a data center is to take down the air conditioning, right? So we need to really think about how we can streamline all these assessments because they're coming from every direction. And again, with the human resource shortage, these are cyber professionals that are often working on these assessments. That's helpful. Thank you, sir. Mr. Horn.
I would have to echo the importance of the assessment arena itself. We do a lot of interplay of data between different sorts of organizations and understanding the security risks as that data moves across the internet and within those organizations themselves. I think that the framework is not uniform across verticals, and we do share across multiple. So having a tighter set of framework around the expectations of data security and also the penalty around not following the proper infrastructure standards that are required to maintain the integrity of the data through its chain of custody.
As someone who used to do risk assessments, this is interesting perspective and something that we'll definitely follow up with. And Ms. Hatter, two questions I have for you. Attribution. I think this is something that has frustrated me in my 17 months in Congress. Attribution as a deterrent. Mm-hmm. Your opinions, should we be attributing more attacks, even if it's general? Should we not? Who should be involved in doing that? What is your thoughts on attribution?
Well, let me go at this from two different ways. So as a large company that has a very diverse business from an intel perspective, publicly attributing attacks to specific players is problematic. So you just have to understand sort of the where companies are coming from that have global businesses, very diverse businesses, and the pros and cons of why they would want to make statements, even if they know why they would make those statements. So the government has to be cognizant of that, because we can end up in very awkward situations that have negative downstream impacts if we don't understand sort of all the gives and takes on that. So that's one side of it. One part of our business is actually very large companies come to us and need help in trying to figure out, okay, who did this to me? How did they do this to me? Why did they do this to me? So I can prevent it again. So we can have the capability of doing that, but it's between us and a customer versus it's a very different thing publicly being required to pinpoint attribution for certain attacks. So I really encourage the commission to look at sort of the challenging business situation that large global companies could be in, that do business in very different geographies with a lot of different players, and what we're required to say or provide can put us in an awkward position. We just need to think through that.
That's helpful. That's helpful perspective. The Cyber National Guard, what's the best next action? In your opinion, you've looked at this a lot. What would be what's the next step?
Well, that is a great question. We see the need because we, as I've changed roles and are out talking with a lot of customers, big companies, mid-size, in a lot of different geographies, this issue of skills needs is so critical. So, I think we're open to participate. I think a lot of companies, large and small, are very willing to participate. So there's probably a next step of get some large players, different companies with the government to say, okay, what could this really look like? because everybody's feeling the need, and people want to get out of the ditch that they're in relative to the security challenges and privacy challenges, and it's difficult for a lot of organizations to do that right now, even though they see the need, they know they need to do it, they can't find the people.
Good copy. And same question I just asked everyone. Your last remarks, you get to wrap it up today. Anything that we failed to talk about, or any final pearl of wisdom you'd like to leave with us?
Final pearls of wisdom. If there's one thing that we could do here, it's catching students early in junior high and getting more into STEM, because if we have more kids going into STEM, they're more likely to be a percentage of them more going into computer science. So I would really encourage, because there's a lot of very good organizations, nonprofit organizations, that are doing the best they can, but it is a hunt and peck effort at best.
Excellent. Well, I'd like to thank our panelists for being with us here today. I think we can go, all day long on these topics, and I appreciate everything that y'all are doing in order to keep our nation safe, and especially our digital infrastructure. And if there's no further business, this concludes our briefing. Thank you.